So silly. Hang on a second here. Some reason, oh great. Not popping up here. Maybe I should have tested this. Okay. I'm back, San Jose. And guess what? Yeah. Homeowners are suing D.R. Horton for deceptive home sales scheme. Let me do this a little bit better here. Let me see if I can make this better. So I don't look like I'm looking away from the thing. So homeowners are suing D.R. Horton over deceptive sales and financing schemes. Shame on you. Seriously, shame on you. It's disgusting that these companies are doing this to homeowners. What they're doing is they're taking the old property tax, dividing it up, and it's saying this is what your taxes are going to be when it goes through the approval process. When you read it, you see, oh, I'm only paying $480 a month or whatever. Not talking about an assessment. There's a disclosure that they have you sign underneath saying you will be reassessed, but for qualification, for approval, go through underwriting, in your brain, you're saying, oh, I'm only having to pay $480. This has been happening a long time. And by the way, when a broker shows you the numbers, it's with the estimated new tax numbers. Because if you buy a house for $500,000 or $5 million, you're going to be reassessed at the new number, not the old number. And it's illegal, it's loan fraud, and D.R. Horton should have, well, not just D.R. Horton, all the homeowners, new home builders that are doing this is deceptive, because what they come in and do is say, hey, if you use our lender, which we'll get a kickback for it, whatever they want to call it, they'll say, we'll give you some incentives. We'll give you $10,000 towards upgrades of the house, but you can get this $10,000 if you use our lender. So it kind of pushes a regular broker out of the way, and it's deceptive. It's deceptive in multiple ways, because it allows them to approve you for more house without the tax. And when the tax assessment comes and gets reassessed, it screws the homeowners. And it's been happening over and over again. I keep looking at that camera. I don't know why it's not working, but it's not. So anyway, at the end of the year or sometime in between, the county comes back and says, hey, guess what? Here's your new tax assessment. You owe us $1,500, or let's say $1,000 times the last 8 months. Oh, it's $8,000. And by the way, your new payment is now $1,500 more. That screws you as a consumer, and it's deceptive, and it's shame on you. Shame on D.R. Horton for doing this. And a lot of people are doing this thinking, oh, I don't need a realtor. I don't need a lender. I can just go and buy a new home and everybody will be happy. Be careful. These new home builders have always done stuff like this. They always wind up screwing agents, and they wind up screwing their homeowners, and they don't care, because it's their business. It's not their business to sell you a home. It's their business to make sure that they maximize a profit for their stakeholders and stockholders, who happen to be, the CEOs and the C levels and the V levels. Shame on them. Shame on them. And they don't just do it in Florida. This one is coming out of Florida. But if you bought a new home recently, and I don't care which builder it is, make sure that you understand what's going on when you do this. And that's why you use a realtor, because they know how to read a net sheet, and they know what's going to happen at the end. And at the end of the day, you're going to wind up having to pay for it, because you're an adult, you're over 18, and you signed your papers saying, I'm willing to pay this document. And by the way, there's going to be a tax assessment disclosure. Oh, there was already one in there. So, buyer beware. Carpe diem. It's why you use a realtor. I have a friend who bought a house in Vegas, in Henderson, and he went to go close and do the final walkthrough, and they didn't put in the island, and it wasn't anywhere in the documentation. They just talked about it. Now he's withholding closing, and they're putting his feet to the fire because the way it's contractually written states that, oh, guess what? We didn't say anything about it in the paperwork, so we don't have to pay you. Yep, happens all over. So it's why you use a realtor. This link is in my blog. Go take a look at the blog, and then you can read this article. If you haven't done so already and you're thinking about selling in the spring, download this home inspection checklist. The link is down below. The checklist goes through every nook and cranny of your house, and no house is perfect. It says it in every disclosure, no house is perfect. No house is perfectly level. No floors are perfectly level. No houses are perfectly square or plumb. The walls are never going to be like that. You're always going to have cracks. You're going to have a broken window. You're going to have a dishwasher that doesn't work. You're going to have a plug that doesn't work. Have it disclosed before you go on market so you can say, told you about it. Too bad. So sad. This doesn't take care of the actual property inspection. We just had inspections done up in Hayward. I'll be doing a walkthrough on that in the next couple days. And we're doing photos, and we're going to have open house this weekend and everything. And we'll have it on market for you so you can come take a look at it. Okay. Realty times. Let's see what to should you sell to an investor? Look, every time I get a new listing, if it's rough, I send the listing out to a list of investors. And 9 times out of 10, 100 times out of the 10, they're investors. There are some good investors out there, and that'll work with you, and they understand how to get the deal done. There's a lot of guys that buy into these people that teach them how to become investors, and they walk them through a whole program, and they're out there getting numbers. And I get 4 or 5 calls, voicemails, and texts every day about, hey, do you have any fixer-uppers coming? It doesn't matter. I always put it out there and let them know. Here, 123 Main Street is coming on market. Send me an offer before it goes on market, and I'll present it. See if it makes sense for my seller to take it. 9 times out of 10, it's always around 60% of the actual value, and we just go, no, thank you, and we move on. But at least we have something in our hands saying, there you go. Investors are kind of squirrely. They don't like to do the work until the work is in their hands. So like the last one I did, I went out and I said, here, go take a look. I sent it out to 25, 30 investors. Here's the address. Go take a look. Contractors are working on it right now. They're cleaning it up right now. Go take a look whenever you want. The house is open. Go take a look. It was vacant, so I didn't care. 2 people responded. One of them just came back and said, this is the number I'm giving you. I go, did you look at the house? Nope. Oh, so how do you even know what you're looking at? Well, I'm not going to go there unless it's a good deal. Well, then I'm not going to work with you. At least I have a number in hand, right? We wound up selling it for a lot more. So that's the thing, is an investor's coming in at 60% of what you think your value is. I had another listing come up that didn't sell because it was priced way too high. I had an offer for $600,000 less than the actual price. The house still didn't sell, and it wasn't worth what it was listed for, but there you go. Now look, if you have a house and you just don't want to take care of it, you don't want to take the time and energy to fix it up, spend a couple thousand, maybe $10,000, maybe $20,000, $30,000 to clean it up and put it on market, and you're willing to take a huge cut, then maybe an investor might be a good idea. Here's what they say are pros to selling to an investor, and I don't agree with this. No concerns about financing delays. There's always going to be a delay, no matter what. Whenever I counter, I always put into the counter saying that we're going to charge you $250 per day post contract close of escrow if you don't close on time for any reason. For any reason, I don't care. And it's normally the lender that comes up with it. And 95% of the people out here are using hard money loans. A hard money loan is basically like where you it's not a Fannie Mae loan. It's private investors, and I invest into these guys as well. So I understand. Just giving you the education here so you understand. I invest into this knowing that I'm going to get 11, 12, 13, 15% annual interest on this. On top of that, if I was going to buy it as an investor, I had to pay 2-3 points of that loan amount. And these loans are anywhere from there was one today for $1.5 million, but they could be $2 million, $3 million. They just need to get into the house, substantiate it, fix it up, and then flip it. So there's always going to be delays, right? Investors will buy a home as is. You don't have to do any fixes. You can just leave it in there. If you're a hoarder, you can leave it as is. They will come and clean it out. It's absolutely a positive to that. There might be broken, might be need a new fridge, new dishwasher, new bathrooms, etc. Doesn't matter. They're going to come in and fix it up anyway, right? The downside to that is that they might come in and put the cheapest Home Depot crap in there, and leave it as is. So when you sell to an investor, you don't have to do a lot of prep work. Yeah, you don't have to. You just basically pack up everything you want to take with you, and then you leave. That's it. It's like taking your 1982 Chevelle to the dealer and saying, "Here you go," and then give you $500 for it. Might be worth $3,000 or $4,000, but you don't want to deal with it. So there you go. That's the mindset that you have. Yeah, there's always downsides. You're always going to lose money working with an investor because the investor is there to make money. Period. If you don't care about money, then that's your leverage, right? What to consider? Do you need to sell your house quickly if you're on a tight pipeline? Look, I've sold homes off market as well, which I'm not in favor of. I don't think that it's a fair deal to the seller because you're not putting it on the market, letting the entire market come take a look at it and say, yes, I'm interested in looking at this house, right? 95% of the people on the MLS looking right now are not interested in your house. 5% might be if it's priced right, if it's in good condition and it's in a good location. It might be worthwhile for them to say, yes, this is something I want to go take a look at. Out of that 5%, maybe 2% are going to look at it during the open house, during private showings, etc. And then you're going to get an offer on it if it's priced right. You don't have to do that with an investor. But then again, you're losing out on what the market rate is. So just be very, very careful about that. Los Gatos house of the week is Glen Ridge, not my listing, $7 million for 5,500 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. Built in 1924. This one is walking distance to North Santa Cruz Ave, the main. Let me move this over here. There you go. This is like the main street. Where am I? Where's my mouse? There it is. Right here. So this is Main Street, Los Gatos, right? And here you go. This is it. So you're walking distance. You can go have dinner, some booze, and stumble back home. That's where it is. This is a great looking house. And let's take a look inside. There we go. It's a beautiful house. Is that wallpaper? Guys, wallpaper. Wallpaper went out 2 years ago. Wallpaper is a pain to remove. Boy, I remember taking wallpaper off my girl's room. That was the smallest room in the house, and it was a pain. Get a little bit of rustic charm in this. It's nice. It's a nice house. There you go. $7 million bucks. And this is luxury home of the highs and lows of the week. This is Webster Street. It's the highest home sold this week. It sold for $10 million, about 80% off of market, off of what the list rate was. It was on market for 48 days. It's down. It's right in Old Palo Alto. And the first picture is the piano. Yeah, I can see why. Okay, well, it's not the greatest looking house, but you do have some girth to it. Again, guys, if you're interested in looking at these houses, the links are in my blog. This is the lowest sold home in Santa Clara County. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 900 square feet, built in 1951. 6 whole pictures. This is off of White and East Hills. Let's take a quick look. Hey, thank you for putting a floor plan on. That's nice. Yeah, don't get to look inside, so that's probably a hoarder. So it probably went to an investor, because an investor's not going to mess around with it. And there you go. You can fix this thing up, make it dolled up, sell for $700,000 or $800,000. Those are the highs and lows. Oh wait, we're going back to that. That was the lowest home sold. This is the highest list price to sales price ratio, which sold for 128% over list price, $2.4 to $3 million. This is Gloucester Court in Sunnyvale. Sold in 7 days. 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet, built in 1958. We could take a quick look at it. Yeah, nicely dolled up, updated kitchen. Nice. They did a good job on this. And thank you for putting a floor plan on. It's not that hard. And let's see. This is the lowest sales price to list price, which sold for about 80%. 80% off market. 1.5 to 1.2, took 21 days to sell. This guy was distressed. This is in Foxworthy Ave, San Jose. Let's take a look inside. 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet. Built in 1956. Only one bed, only one picture. Okay, well, there you go. Fix it the way you like. So this one's a total fixer-upper. There you go. And again, these numbers are on my blog, so you can come take a look at it. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I drove home from Vegas last night. I'm here for a few weeks, and then I'm back for a few weeks. We have birthdays and competitions and Thanksgiving and yada. So I'll be back and forth a little bit. It's nice having my parents close enough so I can go visit them. And yes, they annoy me as much as I annoy them, but it's, you know, they're in their 80s, so it's nice for me to go and visit with them. They were in Knoxville for about 7 years, and now I have the pleasure of going to go see my parents, which I didn't get to do while they were out there living in Knoxville, which was a pain in the butt to get to. So I'm grateful for that. The negative thing is I have to go there, and you know, it's still Las Vegas. You know, nobody really cares about Vegas. I did have a good time in Vegas, but if you're interested in learning about what I did, I will tell you, but only in person. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm Vito with Abitano. We'll see you out there.